Hello, guys, and welcome back to Big Brother UK. And after last night's shocking eviction of Kerry, we're plunged straight into nominations. And I gotta say, it was a pretty interesting outcome. Can I say I'm surprised? Not particularly, but it's gonna be a very, very interesting double eviction on Friday. So I'm going to start with 4 different topics just before we get on to the nominations part of the episode. I want to talk first about Dylan apologising to Noki and Trish. Do I think this was a genuine apology? Yes and no. I think there's parts of him that does believe he has done wrong, and he genuinely does want to apologise to Noki and Trish for the argument that happened yesterday. I think his apology to Noki felt a bit forced at times, and same with Trish really, because as we'll talk about later, he's all for you coming to him if you have a problem with him, but he doesn't do the same thing back, and he's accused Trish of not sort of coming to him with her problems, but she's voiced her problems to him multiple times. I just don't think he's been listening, and I think that's the issue here. Do I think that he apologized because nominations were coming up? Yes, I wholeheartedly believe that. And it's disappointing because I really want to believe the best of everyone in that house, but currently I'm not seeing Dylan's best, I'm seeing his worst, and he's not helping himself in the slightest, and I think he's actually doing more harm than good when it comes to presenting himself to the public. A couple of weeks ago, we didn't even know who he is. Now we've got this very negative perception of him, and I don't see how he can stay in. Surely he can't survive 3 evictions in a row. Surely. If the British public allow that to happen, they have failed everything. And I think we should scrap public voting for the next series, get them to vote each other out like the US version, because at least then I can't be mad when people leave. I can't be mad because at least they were playing a game, the people in the house, whereas the British public are just dumb sometimes. Ugh. I miss Kerry. Can we get Kerry back in the house, please? The food budget turned out to be a luxury food budget. Like I said in the previous episode, I don't see how they could have failed that shopping budget challenge. All they had to do was sit there for 3 minutes while a clown kind of walked around them. The worst one was the bush tucker trial with the bloody fish guts. That was quite tough to watch, and I think that would have been tough to do. And then the last one, they failed, but it was just reaching your hand into a box with like actually nothing dangerous in there. It was just like a toy mouse, a bit of yarn. So like I just don't see how they could have failed it, and I think that they gave them the luxury food budget as an apology for the shock eviction, which fair enough, do what you gotta do. For some unknown reason, Jenkin was put in charge of the food budget, which means that 95% of the food budget went on snacks, and I don't think they actually ordered any proper food for the week. So I feel like we're going to be in for like food wars over the next week because, oh my god, they still haven't worked out how to budget properly. They've been in this house 3 weeks now. They've been on a luxury food budget once, so like I can understand why they want to spend it on like really nice things. However, they have to buy proper food. Otherwise, what are they going to eat? They can't be eating fucking chicken and mushroom pot noodles for the rest of the series. That's not going to fill you up. Apparently, they ordered over 200 chicken nuggets, which... Okay, I understand why they've ordered loads of chicken nuggets. I do. However, that is like... That's not healthy for one reason. Like, that's a uni snack at 2 a.m. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like Jenkins just buying what he would eat at home, not necessarily what the house would want. Because like some of them were, he was reading out the list, and some people were just laughing at like, what the fuck? Why are we ordering this? 20 loaves of bread. Why do we need 20 loaves of bread? There's not even 20 people in the house. You what? I don't know about you, but I don't go through a loaf of bread in a week. My family go through a loaf of bread in like a couple of days, fair enough, but that's because there's four of us. But me, myself, I don't go through more than a loaf of bread in like 2 weeks, and they don't even last that long. So why 20 loaves of bread? What are they going to do with all that bread? The other aspect of the shopping budget that I wanted to talk about was Tom and Paul being little dickheads. And by that I mean they were stealing people's snacks and communal snacks and hiding them in the bedroom. Oh, you know when you just dislike someone so intensely and you struggle to watch them at times. Like I don't so much hate Tom because like I just feel like he's Paul's little lapdog at the moment and that's winding me up. But Paul is just spiteful. I mean, I'm pretty sure he took Yinrun's Belvita biscuits, and so Yinrun's having to share hers with Jenkin. Can we please get him out? If he stays on Friday, I'm going to lose my shit. I'm going to, because it's frustrating me so much. Oh, it's so annoying. Oh, I can't. I just can't get over it. I really can't get over it. Speaking of Paul and his little gang of misfits, I think it was Jenkin, Paul, Tom, and Olivia. They saw that Chanel was over the other side of the room with Trish and Yinrun, and they started like concocting this little evil plan to sort of ice her out. And like when she comes over, they're gonna do iced out like fucking 9-year-olds in the playground. I just thought, actually, are we in year seven? Are we in year seven? Can we grow up? Can we act our ages, please? Because at your big ages of like mid 20s to 30s, you're really us oh. Oh, it is frustrating. I know I keep doing this a lot, but like I cannot tell you how much that little group is annoying me. And like I felt so bad for Chanel because they called her over just to be spiteful to her. And then she was just like, okay, I'll leave. And then when Jenkin came over and was like, are you actually annoyed? Yes, of course she's annoyed. You just embarrassed her in front of the entire room. Jenkin, sort yourself out, mate. Because like I can't believe that you came in episode 1 and I went, he's going to be my favourite this season. And then from that point onwards, you've been like in the bottom half of my ratings every single episode, and it's frustrating me because you are not actually that entertaining anymore. Night 1, funniest person in there. Genuinely. You and Kerry. At least Kerry was funny for the rest of the time for in her house. The rest of the time that she was in the house. You've added nothing. You've had a couple of one-liners. You've had a couple of good moments. But then you do this shit and you just remind me that the fact I want you out of the house. Oh, Jenkin, fix up, mate, because Chanel's a better friend to you than the other people in that group are. Let's be honest. Oh, it's time to talk about the love triangle again. And there's only so many times I can say Matty needs to just back off. And just, do you know what? I'm losing my interest in the love triangle as it is, because apparently Jordan said that he finds Chanel more attractive than Henry. And it's just confusing because I feel so bad for Henry, and actually like I'm starting to prefer Henry to Jordan at times, because Jordan is funny, yes, but then he has these moments where he just has these conversations with Matty that just go round in circles. Like I actually think they've been having the same conversation about respecting each other's boundaries. We gotta back off from each other. They've been having that for the last 2 weeks. I'm bored. And like, apparently tonight, Jordan and Henry are going to go on a date. But like, I don't even know whether like there is anything between them. I know Henry likes Jordan, but like, Jordan, fix up, make your mind up, because you've got someone that genuinely does like you here, and you are like, I gotta hand it to the editors. Every time Matty and Jordan are having a conversation, they somehow find a shot of Henry doing a It's so funny. But also, it breaks my heart because, like, Henry deserves better than this. I'm being dead honest. He deserves better. It's nomination time. And I gotta say, today's nominations were quite straightforward. They were quite to the point. They weren't really beating around the bush. There were a couple of rogue shouts. I thought some people had questionable choices for who they chose. Some people chose the ones I expected them to. And there's also a little bit of is a bit divisive on Twitter at the moment about whether Big Brother has rigged this eviction or not. So we'll talk a little bit about that at the end. But first up we had Henry, and he voted for Dylan because of the whole sort of anger thing that happened last night, which I thought was absolutely fair enough. I think that's an absolute fair nomination. You'll be hearing that a lot, I can guarantee. The next nomination was Paul because he's crude. He farts and burps a lot, and it like we unfortunately had to watch some of that today, and I'm so grateful that they haven't included most of it up until now, but my god, that was disgusting. Please just get out of the house. But yeah, so crude, not funny, and makes things uncomfortable at times with his jokes. Olivia voted for Trish and Noki basically because they were involved in the decision to nominate her. And again, I can't really fault that. I still feel like she needs to hear Noki out because I feel like she's just gone, oh well, you should have fought for me. And I feel like Noki needs to be like, well, we said we would respect each other's decisions and not to argue. So, like, she took this opportunity. There's not really much I could do about it. So, oh, yeah, Olivia, pattern up, please. Noki voted for Paul and Dylan. Paul because she feels like he makes accusations about her that aren't true. She feels like he's made up his mind about her and won't change it. Chats shit behind her back, and she feels like if he remains in the house, he's going to make this experience horrendous for her, which I completely understand, and I do kind of feel bad for her. Big Brother shouldn't have outed them. I think it was good that they did because it's created a lot of tension and sort of tension and drama in the house. However, I think they should have made them immune from nominations because this is exactly what I thought would happen. They revealed that Noki and Trish were the ones who nominated people. They immediately get put up for nominations. As for Dylan, it's just him being inconsiderate and rude at times, being like just shouting and things like that, which again, absolutely fair and valid. Chanel voted for Dylan and Trish basically because of the situation that happened last night. I can understand why you'd vote Dylan and Trish because they were both two parts of the same argument. So I can't really fault Chanel for her nominations. Would have been nice for her to target somebody else, but yeah, it is what it is. Matty threw away a vote on Olivia because he hasn't voted for anybody else since he started nominating. Apart from I think he voted for Kerry in the first week, and then he's voted for Olivia every single week since. He finds her annoying. It is a broken record at this point, and I feel like he could have tactically used his vote to get rid of Paul, but it is what it is. As for the other nomination, he voted for Dylan, and again, for similar reasons. He's rude, he's abrasive, he kind of used the black on black crime statement as a bit of a weapon when it shouldn't have been used, and he crossed a line there. So yeah, I can definitely understand how Dylan has been nominated this week, basically. Jenkin voted for Dylan because of his behaviour yesterday, and he voted for Noki because he feels like she is playing a game and that she's filtering herself to the camera, which has been something that many people have picked up on. I've picked up on it. I definitely think there is an element of filter. There's an element of melodrama from her as well, which we'll get into a little bit later. And I do agree with Jenkin. He's managed to, every single person that he's voted for has gone up for nomination so far, or gone up for eviction so far, which is quite crazy when you think about it. But I do think that there is an element of did you vote for Noki because you didn't want to vote for Paul? Because Paul's the worst person in this house. Sick of it. Sick of it. Yinran voted for Dylan because of the inappropriate behaviour yesterday, and Paul because she feels that he is inappropriate with his behaviour. He plays stupid pranks, and he's just basically not very nice to live with. Bit disrespectful, I think she used at some point. But yeah, can't argue with Queen Yinran. So yeah, I agree with you there. Dylan, now, you'll remember earlier on, Dylan apologised to Trish and Noki and said that, like, if they have any problems, then they should come to him, etc., etc., etc. And that's what he prides himself on. Got into the diary room, and his nominations were just character assassinations of Trish and Noki. Trish, he just said, has some massive problem with him that she doesn't know about, and I feel like vice versa. You've got some massive problem with her that she doesn't know why. So, like, stop chatting shit. This entire segment in the diary room made me think that his apologies were nothing more than fake bullshit. And that's frustrating because you've made me sit there and watch you apologise, and I've gone, oh, okay. No, fair enough, fair enough. He did say something like to Trish, something along the lines of like, oh, the only reason I shouted at you is because I knew you could take it. It's like, no, that's no excuse to shout at somebody. Fuck off. If you want to shout, go in the diary room. Don't shout at other people. Oh. And his second nomination was Noki. And he called her a two-faced game-playing Noki. And I was like, are you being serious? Because if anybody's being two-faced here, it's you. It's you. You're the one that's apologised to their faces. Everything's cool. Yeah, kumbaya bullshit. And then you come in the diary room and you've character assassinated them. Pipe down. Please. Paul called Trish a game player and voted for Noki because he thinks that she keeps talking about him behind his back. Which, like, yeah, she does. Get over it. You're a big man. Shut up. That's basically all I've got to say to Paul. Shut up. Jordan's votes were a bit rogue, I gotta say, and I did feel a bit disappointed with his nominations. He voted for Jenkin because he feels like Jenkin can be quite short and curt with him sometimes, and he gets the impression that Jenkin doesn't necessarily like him, which, fair enough, not everyone is going to like you. But I just feel like that was a bit of a wasted vote. And he also voted for Noki, which again, I feel like was a bit of a rogue vote for him. But he did bring up the fact that he feels like she's fake and that she is melodramatic and she doesn't necessarily promote the real Noki all of the time, which again is a very, very fair comment. Tom voted for Noki because he thinks that she's two-faced. Again, we're just hearing more of the same. Everyone who nominated Noki kind of said the same thing, that they feel like she's not being genuine, etc., etc. He also voted for Trish because he feels like she's food monitoring, but she's not necessarily sticking by her own rules, which I feel like is a valid argument. Fair enough, because we have noticed that a couple of times when she's brought up that food distribution needs to be better, but then she's cooking chicken at 2 a.m. So, like, I do get that, but, oh, God, Tom, can you get a personality and not stop being fucking Paul's lapdog, please? And finally, Trish voted for Dylan and Paul because, like, who else was she going to vote for? I don't think she was going to vote for anyone else. And I don't think she should, because they've been dicks to her and they deserve the nominations. So, at the end of nominations, we had Dylan on 7 votes, Noki on 6 votes, Trish on 5 votes, Paul on 4 votes, and then Olivia and Jenkin on 1 vote each. So that meant that this was a 4-way eviction vote this week between Dylan, Noki, Trish and Paul. People have been a little bit outraged over the fact that Paul is up for eviction purely because normally it's if people have got like it's normally the top 3 for a double eviction, but I think they've made it a top 4 so that your chances of survival are the same as if you went in a head-to-head, which I think is absolutely fair and valid. Yeah, I can't see Paul and Dylan staying in the house past this week. However, there is a spiteful Facebook mob which appears to be like white middle-aged mums, and they are very spiteful towards Trish and Nucky, and they're voting them out. So I implore you, if you haven't voted already, please vote for Paul or Dylan, preferably Paul, because I think that Dylan's going to get votes regardless from the general public. But I would love to see Paul get out as well, because I can't take another week of him. I can't take it. I actually can't take it anymore. So that is all we've got time for. There were no real iconic quotes and moments in this episode. So thank you guys very, very much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode of Big Brother Review. And if you liked the video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. The engagement on these videos has been really, really lovely to see, and you guys are absolutely smashing it. I'm getting a lot of views each day, which is really, really lovely to see. And it's nice to see you guys commenting your thoughts and your feelings in the in the comment section as well, because it enables me to have those conversations with you guys and really engage with the community. So thank you guys very, very much for watching, and I'll see you later. Keep on ranting. Bye now.